Good evening, everybody. I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change, and welcome to Let's Talk Stand Up with Confidence. Now, we're not all built the same. We don't all have the same thought processes or same emotional balance, and all of this coupled with our own specific unique personality type and all of our past experiences are going to have an effect on our self-confident levels. The thing is, though, what is really important is our self-confidence does have a huge effect on everything that we do in our life. So this is going to have an effect on how we build relationships, because of the way we communicate with ourselves. So hence it is then going to have an effect on how we communicate with other people. It's going to have an effect on the outcomes of our life, our work life, our relationships, where we are going, whether we're going to meet our goals, whether we are going to strive and meet, to enjoy the hobbies that we want to enjoy, have the holidays that we want, have the income that we want, have, be able to have the best influence possible on how we raise our children, for example, or how we look after our parents. And, and this is why our self-confidence is, important to look after and to nurture. Because low self-confidence does have a spiral effect. So if you've got a low self-confidence, that is going to develop self-doubt, which is then going to develop into a poor success rate, which is then going to develop into disappointment in our abilities, which is then going to have a knock-on effect onto our low confidence levels. And so if that cycle keeps going round and around, gradually we're going to spiral downwards and become less and less confident. The thing is, it's really important to remember is that our self-confident levels can be developed, new skills can be learned, and we can rebuild ourselves, so to speak. But, it's about listening to the warning signs, okay? Because, it is going to have, other people are going to pick up on these energies that you're giving out, and they're going to look at all sorts of different aspects of you. And this is really important, especially when you're going into new situations, when you want to be making an impression, when you want to be making new contacts, because people read us. And as you are probably very aware that we make a judgment call on somebody within the first 10 seconds of clapping eyes on somebody. We won't even have spoken to them, but we may have made a judgment call on them. And this is going to be in terms of how they're dressing, how they stand, how they meet and greet other people. It's all about eye contact, the things that they are saying to other people or not saying to other people, which is going to have a huge effect. It's going to be about people's composure. So, we give out energy levels that are going to either be energetic ones or very, very weak ones. And this also is important in people who are overconfident. Are they overconfident because they are covering something up and they are trying to overcompensate, and only you know, you, when you meet that person, will you know? And I'm sure that we've all experienced a time when we thought that we would get on with somebody, and you start talking to them, and very, very quickly you find that the energy levels, your energy levels aren't meeting correctly. Okay, so, you know, about building your confidence, it's about knowing yourself. All right, it's about knowing your strengths. But I'm going to come on to some tips about how to build your confidence in a minute, because I want you to just, you know, recognize some other signs of, you know, people who have good self-confidence. Okay, and so this is about, you know, being able to take a risk, for example, you know, and this is important if you want to stretch yourself. You've got to be able to take a risk, but if it doesn't pan out, to be able to, you know, be accountable to yourself, to acknowledge the things that didn't work, learn from it so that you can correct them and do them right next time. Okay, this is also about believing in yourself. Okay, and this is really, really important, because if you believe in yourself, you are standing up for yourself. Even when people criticize you, you will be able to act confidently and continue on your journey to wherever it is that you are wanting to go. It's also about you know, people with good confidence levels are people who can accept compliments, all right, and accept them graciously. Thank the person for the compliment, not sweeping it under the carpet, and, you know, and congratulating yourself and admitting that perhaps, you know, it was extremely hard work, and, you know, just being, you know, honest about, you know, the strength that you needed to do these things. Okay, and perhaps you recognise some of these things, or perhaps you don't recognise some of these things. And this is very, very important as well, because this is all about self-honesty, you know, which I talk about a lot. It's about going, yes, I don't accept compliments very well, and I always, you know, swish them away, and I, you know, say that it was somebody else's hard work. But the important thing to remember is that we all have little areas within us where we struggle with our self-confident levels. All right, it might not be the whole package, it might be little areas, but those little areas will be seen, especially if you are standing up talking. You know, the colour of your skin will be a big giveaway. You know, if you're stumbling over your words, if you are having, you know, breathing issues, that is a huge indicator that, you know, people are having self-confidence levels. Okay, so, you know, don't think, or let's put it the other way, if you are going through life saying, I couldn't possibly do that, I have poor confidence levels, all right, that, I'm afraid, is a huge indicator that something needs to change. But it's about how much you want something to change. How much do you want to learn about yourself, find out what you're capable of, so that you can move on and progress and reach where it is that you want to be. Okay, only you know the answer to that one. And this is where it's important to search within yourself about what it is that you want in life, and then to start working on it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips now on how to improve your self-confidence levels. Okay, so really, really important, is to understand your strengths. And I think it's really, really important to write all of this stuff down, all right, so you can remind yourself, so that you can track your thought processes, you know, your feelings about different things. And all of this will develop, you will develop a better understanding about yourself. And if you have a better understanding about yourself, you are in a fabulous position to be able to change things. All right. And, you know, without change, there's nothing different, is there? Okay. So really, really understand your strengths. What are you good at? What are your skills? What are your qualifications? Okay. Acknowledge your weaknesses. That is really, really important. And we all have weaknesses, okay? But it's about knowing them, acknowledging them, but having a willingness to change them. All right? Because, you know, without that willingness to change, nothing's going to be different. Okay. The next step is, what is important to you? All right. Because knowing that level of importance will give you the drive and enthusiasm to stretch yourself. All right, to find the solutions. And this is the next step. If you know what is important to you, it's about finding the solutions and starting to take action. All right, doesn't have to be great big huge steps, small little steps, so that you can start to strive. Okay, so it's about knowing what's important to you so that you can find out and plan where it is that you're going. All right, because if you don't know where it is that you're going, how do you know what journey to take? How do you know what actions to start plotting? Otherwise you're going to be fumbling around, you know, going here, going there, and not having proper direction. So it's about having focus. All right, the clearer the focus, the clearer your journey will be, and the more defined your actions will be. Okay, so coming with this comes around visualization. Okay, really get a clear picture. All right, what does it look like? What does it sound like? You know, what can you hear going on around you? What is it feeling like? What is it smelling like? What is it tasting like? And I know that some of these, you know, the smell and the taste might sound a bit weird, but, you know, for some goals that people are going to be going along, it is going to be vitally important, because, you know, especially if you're going into the catering industry or the perfume industry, you know, that is really, really important. But also, you know, it's about, what are you smelling that is going to give you the indicators that you are succeeding? Okay, perhaps you know you are succeeding because you don't have to be in the office, for example, so much, and you can be outside enjoying the fresh air more. So that is going to give you a huge sense of smell, isn't it? You know, perhaps, you know, you've got the success that you want and you're able to go out and celebrate and have a fantastic meal, for example. Okay, so this is why it's important to think about all the different senses. Okay, what can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel physically and emotionally? What can you smell and what can you taste? Okay, then commit to your journey. All right, because you can have your vision, you can set a goal, but if you don't commit to it, it's not going to work. You know, if you have these thoughts and ideas about, well, I'll try and do it, maybe it'll happen, you know, those are, if you are experiencing those words, you know, if you can hear yourself saying those words, that is a sure sign that the success rate isn't going to be great. All right, so it's just thinking about how you're going to reframe, how you're going to reword or restructure what it is that you're aiming for, you know, and really, you know, boost that enthusiasm level up. All right, along your way, every little step and action you take, celebrate the success. All right, you will find your own way of little celebration, because all of these little celebrations will help, you know, boost your self-confidence levels. So if one of the things you're struggling is, say, making the phone call, speaking to somebody that you don't know, writing a difficult letter, you know, going into walking into an environment with a lot of people that you don't know, you know, these are all very, very real struggles for people. All right, but if you can say, yeah, I walked into that room on my own with nobody holding my hand, I didn't know anybody in there, that is already a tick in the box. Then another tick in the box was, I walked into that room, I didn't know anybody there, and I spoke to somebody I didn't know. That's another tick in the box. All right, so it's about having, you know, realistic positive thinking. All right, and this really comes down to knowing yourself. What's your struggle? Where are the difficulties? What can you manage, you know, when you start to stretch yourself? And what is the outcome going to be? All right. And then it's about learning. All right. It's about evaluation. It's about, you know, just replaying it a little bit so that you can learn from it. So yeah, I went into the room where I didn't know anybody. I went and spoke to somebody I didn't know. But then when you think about it, you think, well, I didn't speak to anybody I knew, or somebody new, for about an hour. Okay, so then perhaps next time it is, I'm going to walk into the room where I don't know anybody on my own, and I am going to speak to somebody that I don't know for the first time within the first, say, 5 minutes of going into the room. And assess who you're going to speak to. Have a little look around, all right? Perhaps you might take with you a little preparation of what you are going to say to people. Okay, just, you know, something quite simple. Rehearse it, okay, so that you feel confident about how you're going to introduce yourself to somebody, okay, in a positive way. All right? Then, you know, and this is all about stretching yourself. All right? Don't stretch yourself so much that you're going to put the fear of God into yourself. All right? Because that is not going to benefit you. Just stretch yourself a little bit, all right? And then next time you can stretch yourself a little bit more. And each time you do that, it's about, you know, learning. It's about acknowledging what went well. It's about acknowledging what didn't go so well. It's about modification, adjustment. And we do this all of the time, you know, in our lives with things that we feel comfortable about, but we don't notice that we're doing it. All right? And, you know, so this is why it's really important to be aware of, you know, this readjustment, realignment, you know, in situations that don't feel good for yourself, so that you can be in a better position the next time that you do it. Okay, and it's also about, you know, what is going to benefit me in getting me nearer to the goal. So it's about, you know, all of this, you know, all of these thought processes is, you know, is about helping you keep your focus. Okay, and readdress your goal each time so that you can refresh your memory, see how far you've got along your journey, and celebrate as you go. And recognize your self-confident levels. Okay, so it's about, at the very beginning, recognizing where you are today, all right, so that you can see your progress. All right, recognizing where you are today, reassessing it next week, next month, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, etc., so that you can see your progress. Okay, so self-confidence is about gaining strength, it's about gaining courage, it's about gaining positive thought processes and feelings and emotions for yourself so that you can achieve and have in your life what you really want and desire. So, to go along with this Let's Talk, you know, it's getting closer and closer that my new website, the Sunshine Hub, is going to be going online soon, where there's going to be online courses available to you, and you know, you'll be able to have a bank of these Let's Talks to be able to look at, and other resources as well. But I will keep you informed. But if you want to have another conversation about, you know, your self-confidence levels, then send me a message. Send me a message through my website, www.kathloyd.co.uk, and, you know, we can, you know, discuss it further, start finding solutions that are, you know, personal to you, because, you know, we're all going to find different ways of managing our self-confidence levels so that you can have the brightness and the happiness back in your life again, to be able to succeed in whatever it is that you want in your life. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a great evening, have a great week, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Bye bye now.